morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. We are covering the case of Sebastian Rogers. He's been missing from his home since February 26, 2024. According to everything that we have learned about this case, Sebastian Rogers was last seen on February 25, 2024, while dining with his mother at a local steak restaurant known as the Texas Roadhouse. Allegedly, he left the Texas Roadhouse about 6:22 to 6:25 in the evening, and they proceeded their way home. We do have audio information confirming that Sebastian did in fact arrive to his house on Stafford Court the evening of Sunday, February 25th. Around 6 a.m. on February 26th, his mother allegedly awoke, went to go wake up her son, and found his bed empty. After looking around the home for several minutes, she ended up calling her husband, which was allegedly 3.5 hours away in Memphis, Tennessee, at what is dubbed the St. Jude's Project. Since then, the roads were filled up with a lot of law enforcement. A huge and massive search effort went underway to find Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. They ended up within 24 hours releasing an Amber Alert. We're learning a lot about these Amber Alert system and the strict criteria needed to get a person on the Amber Alert. So how is it Sebastian got on this Amber Alert without evidence of an abduction 24 hours after he was reported missing? These are a lot of questions that we have no answers to as we're working this case. What I can tell you is their statements have changed wildly. Here are a few examples of the wild changes.
Was his ask, would he be able to ride a city bus?
Nothing is off the table as far as abilities. Could the young man get on a bus? I'm sure he could.
We've never done it before.
We've never rode a city bus, so I don't think he understands the process. He doesn't have any sense of money. He may have, like, let's say a $20 bill in his hand, but he doesn't truly understand what $20 would get him.
He's good
Right.
at it, but he doesn't
I understand.
Time and money.
It seems awfully funny that, he just can't seem to take care of himself. He doesn't really know much. But when we hear his father talk about him, Seth Rogers, he describes his son more capable than we've ever heard. He says his son is so capable, he goes fishing, he can shoot a gun. There's a lot of stuff that Sebastian does that, from the information we had from the mom and stepfather, we wouldn't believe. And just recently, after the 1-year milestone of this young man being missing, the mom and stepdad come out and say there was a misunderstanding about their son and his capabilities. That's kind of odd. Let's listen to that.
With his autism, is there anything else that we should add that you want the public to know right now?
I would say that he is what they would consider high functioning. He's not, he doesn't struggle with verbal communication, but he does, he does struggle sometimes with expressing himself is, I guess, the best way that I could put that. But he's so smart and he's so capable, and that I think the initial image of him that was portrayed was misleading to an extent.
Yes, very much misleading to an extent. They're the ones that were feeding the public the information about their son. So why were they being so dubious in explaining the capabilities he had early on? They treated him or put him into the minds of the people looking for him that he had an infant's mind. And that is completely untrue. We're going to be diving into this and more today on the Bullhorn Betty channel.
I struggle to put words to how it feels, honestly. the amount of ups and downs, the amount of like possible leads that haven't panned out. I miss him so much. So at this point, it's keep searching. People keep looking. Keep searching, keep looking. We keep putting up new flyers. I know a lot of places, they take them down after so long. We just keep going back and putting more up. I refer to my original request just to anyone that's willing. Don't let him become forgotten. Don't let him become lost in the next story. Not to supersede other children, because they all deserve just as much, if not more, attention, because all children do. But I would say just please don't let him become forgotten and lost, because we're never gonna stop. We're never gonna let that happen if we can help it.
And I hope you stick around to learn a little more about these mysterious statements from the mom and stepdad and the recanting thereof. God bless.
Well, good evening, my beautiful people here on YouTube. And as you know, because I've already seen some emails coming in about Mike Demand, yes, you are correct. He is the inspiration for this show, something I couldn't look past. I tried. I started thinking about it. And there was things that came up early on in the investigation that we didn't really hone in on. Why? Because things had happened many, many, many years ago, like around 1981, very, very long ago. It didn't seem very relevant at the time. However, with new statements that have come out that I was unaware of, may pose to infuse this next step, this next, topic of conversation, because it's hard to believe people think the way they do. Give me just a second. Let me get that light off so we can see better, just a little bit better. Let me bring this over here. Sorry, guys. Is that better? There, that looks better. That looks better. All right, you know me and lighting. Pete, it's nice to see you. Skits, West Side, Crime Music, it's nice to see you. Bullhorn Betty is present. Our beautiful Sonia and the rest of the mod squad is present. It's nice to see you. Melanie, good evening. It's nice to see you. Kathleen, Mama Bear, Michelle, it's nice to see you, Love Bug. Donna, Linda, it's nice to see you. Lisa B. Always. I think we talked out, and look at this. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Michelle thank you. Yay, thank you. And for those that, or for the person that received your Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straight jacket and your padded room, and welcome to the fam. Welcome to the fam. Lisa B. Always, it's nice to see you. Valerie, can you superimpose a little mustache on Sebastian? I think we do have one already imposed on there. I've got to go find it. Mama Rissa was the one that did it. What a great person, beautiful soul. Has been working tirelessly right along with a lot of other creators, including Hindsight, and they were able to get me something. I know I've showed it on the show before, but if you remind me closer to the end, I will actually, let me star it. I'll star you. So closer to the end, I'll go look for them, and we'll take a look at some aged, it's not professionally, I mean, it does look professionally aged progressions. It's got some beards and like little different styles. So if it's a full one, if it's not so full, if it's just a little mustache coming in, she did that. And it was really nice that she did. Sort of Morta, it's nice to see you. Sonia, I think I said hi to you. Oh, Penny. Oh, thank you so much. God bless you. I hope you're doing well and staying busy. Remember, busy hands are happy hands. Monica, it's nice to see you. Who else do we have? Debbie, nice to see you. Good evening. Good evening. Truth in Time. Jazz, I see you. Debbie, it's nice to have you. Good evening. Good evening. Smiley's World, it's nice to see you. Mr. and Mrs. Car Guy, me and you, it's nice to see you as well. The Real Me Too and the rest of our beautiful mod squad, it's nice to see you. Cheryl, hey, 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 hey. Who else do we have up in here? Valerie, it's nice to see you. Frank, hey, hey, hey. Linda, it's nice to see you. Melody, it's nice to have you. Cece, good evening. Mama, it's nice to see you. Witchy Mama, see something, say something. Mally Cat, Mona, it's nice to have you. Clarissa, hey, hey, hey. Outer Banks, it's nice to see you. Peggy, Nicey Marie, it's nice to have you as well. And everybody else, Stephanie, I'm going to go through here and see if I missed anybody. Donna, Falker's dad, it's nice to see you. Teresa, I think Julie, it's nice to see you. Chip, I don't know how far away I am or how many minutes I am behind. It looks like about 10 minutes, so it's probably a lot. Oma, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you guys. It's nice to see you guys. Oh, thank you, Eeyore Blue. True Crime Justice. It's nice to see you. Barbosa. Hey, 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 Penny. Smiley's World reminding us if you see anything, 1-800-TBI-FIND. Chastity. All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. I'm just going to go up just a little bit, make sure I didn't miss too much. I know there's a lot of people in chat. We have 337 people already in chat. Don't forget to go out there and give a thumbs up. Princess Jasmina, SPED teacher, it's nice to see you. Grave Crime with Grace, it's nice to have you. Caroline, hello. LJ. Hindsight, it's nice to see you. Casey, it's me, Jen. Hey, hey, hey. I know there's an end to this somewhere. It's going on and on and on. I love you guys. I love you guys. I'm glad you guys are chatting in chat. Amy Lynn, it's nice to see you. Thank you. Seven Truths, nice to see you. Valerie, I think I said hi to you. And for all the people that I missed by scrolling up, I do apologize to you. Feeling a bit snarky tonight. I've had enough. Snark away. As long as it's properly, directed, not, illegitimately directed. I don't want people in here, directing their frustration at innocent parents. Praying we get Sebastian home soon. God bless you. 19 months. Reality Wins. I think it was Reality Win's birthday. Don't forget to tell Reality Wins happy birthday. I think that if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it's Reality that had the birthday this morning. So just a big shout out again. I Spy, I see you. It's nice to see you. Rumor has it, it's nice to have you. Kathy, Narita, Michael, hey, 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 Sabrina, Gypsy, it's nice to see you. Lovebug, it's nice to see you. Aw, Grave Crime with Grace gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Grave Crime with Grace thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Aidi and Santa Salam. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Thank you. Thank you, love. Love it. Look who it is. It's nice to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. I hope your mom's doing well as well. It's been longer. I'm grateful to bring in the truth. Thank you. Absolutely. Well, I don't know how. Oh, Mama Dukes, thank you so much. I don't know how much. Girly girl, it's nice to see you. I don't know how much, um, how much truth we're bringing, but we're definitely bringing a lot of information that I feel like is we have our foundation of fact, and that's very limited from what we know. We've had to find a lot of stuff ourselves. We had to do a lot of interviews. We've had to look at other people's interviews, look at what other people have been able to find, because one person doing all this, it would never work out, right? It's entirely too cumbersome for it to work out. So, we definitely try to enlighten people. Like tonight's conversation is all about enlightening and educating you guys with a lot of information that may, or it's not necessarily, is this information going to bring Sebastian home? Probably not, but it's a topic of conversation that's lingering and that's on everybody's shoulder. What happened to Sebastian? And at the end of the day, we feel, for most of us, that something bad happened. And why do we feel that way? Well, we can list the ways, right? He doesn't have a tendency of running away from home, yet he ran away from home. He didn't take shoes, didn't take any personal belongings, didn't take his gaming system, a 3-hour phone call. It's just a lot of weird stuff that doesn't make sense. And then you couple that with what law enforcement says, right? There's no scent from the dogs. There's no eyewitnesses that saw him anywhere, that never saw him from midnight on until today. Nobody has seen him. And there's no a third party that has seen him other than the people at the Texas Roadhouse the night before, where he was walking out about 6:22 in the evening. So, he was in mom's care from 6:22 in the evening until 6 a.m. in the morning when he was reported missing, or 6:33 in the morning when he was reported missing. A 12-hour, almost to the minute window, right? So what have we done? We try to shave time off. We try to hone in on the specific time something could have happened to him. And then we have these car lights going on, or not car lights. We have car lights on the side of the road in a suspicious spot, flashlights coming to the car, and we're hearing all of these stories. Well, Mike Damon is talking about another aspect of it. He's a linguistic person, which talks about and studies the behaviors in speech. Like he is a statement analysis, right? And so he goes through these statements and he enlightens people on his experience and education about statement analysis. And one of those earlier today, was pretty bothersome. But then, we knew, and we've discussed it, that Terry Bowersox, this is the step-grandfather of Sebastian Rogers, was arrested many years ago over chemical charges. Now, many people believe those chemicals could be associated with math with an E. And I have confirmed that is true. You can make math with an E out of this anhydrous ammonia, which is what he was charged with. And while we did go over it at the time, it was just fleeting in nature, because it really didn't have any relevance on Sebastian missing or where Sebastian could be. But now, a year later, could it apply? Well, yeah. Because Mike Damon found a statement that Chris made early on. And you have to think, in time of need, in time of urgency, your brain is going to think of what it knows, right? So even if these statements were made months prior to, years prior to, it's still knowledge that person has that will be relied on in a pressing situation, such as a child being injured or some need to get a child out of the home. Would they be thinking all these other things? Yes, they would. If it's something that they spoke of, it's something that they have knowledge of, and it's something that may creep back in their mind in a time of need. And now we have to look at it, because before it didn't matter, but now that we see another statement from Chris Proudfoot, it does kind of fine tune the conversation. Why? Because this boy still has yet to be found. And the last time we heard anything related to finding him, we were told we would never find him by the stepfather on multiple different occasions, including Dog the Bounty Hunter making the statement that that is what was told to him by Christopher Proudfoot. That doesn't make us feel easy. It's never made us feel easy, right? So we're going to be diving into some information so everybody's up to date. But before we do, I want to show you two videos. It's Matt Thibodeau. And the reason why I'm showing his is because on these two fronts, I agree with him in the way he says it 100%. I also believe this young content creator deserves props for his work. He's very dedicated to the truth, and we love to promote and plug good content creators that are with none of the bull crap, right? And we want people that are thinking outside of the box and presenting legitimate talking points on this case. It's what helps keep this case alive, and it's what helps keep this case in the social media algorithm. Once we start getting away from that algorithm, that's when we start having problems. But it takes all these people from all these different platforms still talking about it, still making heads or tails of what they see, and still providing their opinion of the same. So wanted to thank that. Oh, look, The Real Me Too gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. God bless you. Thank you. And whoever received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell The Real Me Too thank you and welcome to this family, this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Aidi and say salam. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. It's nice to see you, Doris. Deafening Silence, it's nice to see you as well. Mally Cat, 11 months. God bless you. Next month is your Bullhorn Betty birthday. Thank you for being you and bringing us the facts. And we're going to go over some facts because I didn't understand what this is, but we're going to go back into time as well because we actually discussed this very specific ammonia already. We have. And you know where we talked about it at? When we were covering Dee Warner 7 months ago. 7 months ago. So thank you, Mally Cat, for that. It's Me, Jen, gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell It's Me, Jen, thank you, and welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Aidi and salam. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room. I think our mental ward is getting packed. I love it. Now we can start taking crayons and coloring on the wall and blowing bubbles. Oh, thank you, Teresa, for the super sticker. God bless you. God bless you. I Spy, thank you for the super sticker. God bless you as well. We got SPED teacher. She gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. So welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Aidi and salam. I want something to hit do-do-do-do-do, right? Grab your straight jacket in your padded room. Welcome aboard. We got a bunch of crazies in the house tonight. So God bless you. Aw, thank you. I love the Coffee Club and Sebastian's Army. Thank you. Sebastian's Army moves forward, rain or shine. I got to tell you that. So hopefully I'm getting through. Sorta Morta gifted 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Thank you, Sorta Morta. Oh, I see Nurse Sandy up in the house. Brianna, it's nice to see you. If you received your Bullhorn Betty memberships from Sorta Morta, don't forget to tell her thank you and God bless you. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club. Aidi and salam. Grab your straight jacket in your padded room. You know what? I'm going to have to get I think I'm going to do a new song. We're going to call it the Padded Room Song. I'm going to put it into a song. Debbie W., thank you for gifting 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership from Debbie, please don't forget to tell her thank you. And you crazy folks, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room. And Chastity, 1 month member, we know you've been around a lot longer than that. So big hearts and love to you. Coco Pete, Busby Adventures. Sorry, I'm butchering your name. Nice to see you. Deanna, just because you're awesome. Thank you. You guys are too sweet. And B. Betty, oh my goodness. She's put up with my sorry butt for 34 months. 34 months. Wow. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you for putting up with me and doing such an amazing job with the moderations. Thank you for everything, by the way, B. Betty fan. So we're going to start out this evening with Matt, and then we're going to dovetail into, I'm just going to show you the part of Mike Daman's show, and then we're going to cut over to 2 of the videos I did 7 months ago. And then we're going to come back and finish up with Mike's statements that I think that you guys will find interesting. If you have not subbed up to Mike Daman, he is pretty big on X, and then he's just recently come over to YouTube, and we couldn't be more grateful for his contributions to the YouTube platform, and we want to show him the love because this statement analysis stuff is big business, right? It matters to us. We need to have this stuff. We don't know it. We have to lean on people with the education and the expertise that can educate us. And I think that he does a great job at that. So again, we're going to bring it up. Here's Matt. These are the 2 that he did today. And I couldn't agree with him more. I was going to pull other ones up, but I was looking at him and I'm like, these 2 are spot on. Thank you, Outer Banks. God bless you. Narita says Lolly has a clip where CP says Sebastian will never be found. Have Lolly send that to me. Thank you. I've been looking for that for forever. I knew if I was just patient, it would eventually surface, because I remember when I found it the first time, it was someplace I didn't expect it to be. I remember that's part of it, but I can't remember what it was because we did go over it. We had a show on it. I don't know if we discussed it fleeting or if it was part of the encompassing show of a talking point, but I remember talking about it. So this young kid here is Matt. He's a really sweet, I shouldn't call him a kid. He's an adult. He's going to school, but he's just a smart person that really cares about true crime. He really cares about getting the right information out there. He's not really into all the drama or the BS. I'm sure just like every other content creator covering this case is up to their eyeballs with the nonsense in this case. Hey, Mama Rissa, it's nice to see you, love. And I think that that's kind of where we are this day and age when it comes to this case. You know, sometimes we feel like we're hitting a wall, but we always have to go back. And this is a great time to be processing some of the information that we're not very, don't have right. Like the whole thing with the search at the landfill, it's all over the place. I don't know what to believe with that, because I have been told by the people, by residents of their community, that specific community that they reside in off of Stafford and those little veins that go in that area, just that community. And they say that their trash does not get dumped in Kentucky, which leads me to believe that there was something else they were looking for. So again, I'm just going to play this. He says it all. I agree with him 100% on both of them.
There's a lot of subtle but very important and telling pieces of information that Chris Profit is sharing with us while he is on YT on these panels with his friends. We have another inconsistency here when it comes to information that the Proudfoots are trying to put out there as fact. A few months back, Steve Fisher, the Proudfoot's old PI, stated that he knows that the lights video is not a trash truck. He stated that he believes the lights video is someone, a neighbor, taking out their trash and bringing it down to the curb. This is the audio of Steve Fisher saying that.
We believe, can't say for certain, we believe that's much more likely. That's probably what that light is. But I definitely do not. I know that that's not. They'll never come and say that was a trash truck for sure.
So if that's the case, why did Chris Proudfoot just a few days ago, while he was live on this YT panel, say that that was 100% a trash truck? Listen.
So, I mean, it's common to see them out that early.
Okay. So this is 100% garbage, nothing else at all.
What, that's a garbage truck?
Yes.
It is absolutely a garbage truck.
Okay. I just want to know.
Things are not adding up here, and they're supposed to be on the same page, yet they're clearly not. Is that maybe why Steve Fisher is no longer working for them? Because they do not agree upon the narrative that should be presented to us, the public, to trick us? Chris Proudfoot also made a comment on one of his recent appearances on a YT panel that implies that Sebastian is no longer alive. And that, to me, is extremely concerning on top of everything else. The inconsistencies,
and we're going to get into that topic of conversation tonight.
Lies, the secrets, the manipulation. I'm going to play the audio right now for you guys. Take a listen and let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments.
Somebody in the chat I was reading said, "Oh, stop laughing. Chris isn't supposed to laugh." That was another thing that they were saying. They were like, "Oh, they were up there laughing and joking around and not talking about Sebastian." It's like, they can't have a good time. It's stupid.
Well, my question to people when they say something like that is real simple. You mean to tell me everything that's tragic in your life, you don't ever stop? You lose somebody in your life, and all you do is you just sit there and have the negative times, and you don't stop to have and reminisce. Well, I remember when Uncle so-and-so or Grandpa did this and Grandpa did that. Like, you don't ever do that? I'm not going to get religious on this aspect of this, but there's a saying, a Native American saying, that they say that when you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. But when you die, the world cries and you rejoice.
That has always been a creepy statement. And yes, he's implying death. And yes, he's referring to a deceased uncle and a deceased grandfather. And memories you have. This is supposed to be much different, no? This is supposed to be somebody missing, not deceased. But here, in this time frame, he's already talking about this child not being here. Not being here. Not being on this earth. His wife being the last person that saw this child, and his statements are of death and rejoicing, the person rejoicing when they're dead. Many people said early on, was this a mercy unaliving? That statement gives me chills when you follow it up with mercy unaliving. But did this man sound confident that he knew Sebastian was not here with us? To me, the answer is yes. To me, the answer is yes. And that's very troublesome for me. Okay.
You guys, I would say that there's a lot of subtle...
Okay. Let me go to the next one. That was it. Let me make sure that the okay, it did. Good.
I'm not sure if you guys have been hearing this information, but it's being reported that there was allegedly a trash bag found at the Kentucky landfill search for Sebastian Rogers last year that had his clothes in it.
Now, I will tell you, based on just some of the things that have been said, I'm not all in on this statement yet, okay? And that's why I decided, because I know a lot of people have been wanting me to have a response about this new bag that's kind of popped up from somebody that was there. I can tell you, I've been personally present for landfill searches, and while they do allow corporations like the waste management to still go in and dump, and they do still allow dumping, they put the people that are dumping stuff so far away from the search. They take them to a whole different sector of the landfill for that dump. And they have it coordinated with law enforcement so nobody is back in the area that they're searching. So that's the first, and that's just from my personal experience, being there, boots on the ground, while there was a search underway at a landfill. And that was in the Quentin Simon case. And I can tell you that I and Dolly both tried to get in there, and they would not let us into the landfill. We even said we had trash to throw away. They wouldn't let us in. So I know how locked down it is to the public when one of these things are going on. But he did say something. There was a caveat that he dumps there all the time. So if he had a full trailer or something like that, yes, they, in my opinion, they would have allowed him to go back to dump because he has a legitimate purpose. But also, with that same sense, there is a segregated area for that to be done, in my experience. So it makes it hard for me to believe for those things alone. Not that I completely disregard it or disbelieve it. I just think there needs to be more, right? More. Somebody that, doesn't have to be public verification, but somebody here in the true crime community that is trusted, that is, will keep their information confidential to, verify that that person is who they are. They may have already done that. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm not quite there yet with this bag because I've read it. Now, some people have pointed out to me, and I agree with them too, the language in the statement provided by Sumner County is a little bit elusive. I reread it, and we know word salad. So I applied word salad standards to the letter. And yes, there could be some reading between the lines in that letter. In that statement, rather, not letter, but, that statement where they said, it wasn't successful. They've received negative results, and nothing is helping lead them to the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers. It's very, very clear, but, were they really searching for him there, or were they searching for evidence? So let's finish up with Matt, and then we'll get started on our show.
Now, the reason why I have not spoke about this is because this is unverified information. We don't know if those were actually Sebastian's clothes. We don't know if DNA testing was even done on the clothes. We don't even know if there is or was a bag of clothes found. This information comes from this message right here that reads, "The parents definitely did something to that child. They found a trash bag full of his clothes at the landfill in Kentucky last year. I know this because I worked for a trash hauling fleet that tips were there, and I was there when they found it. If you hope your child is found, why would you throw his clothes away not even 2 months after he disappeared?" I don't know.
And he's going to say the same thing I said. I did exactly what Matt did. I went back to look at when this land search was done, because when I heard the 2 months, I'm like, wait a minute. I remember this land search happening, within a couple weeks of him disappearing. So how it went is the case, they did the massive search for about a week, about 3/4 is when they decided to change from the ground search to the investigative side. And this is the kickoff of all the interviews, the initial interviews with the mom and stepfather. And then shortly after that, there was this huge landfill search. And I remember it almost being very close to the time that they were doing their first rounds of interviews. So I went back, and it appears that around it's a little hinky because I don't know if they were out there on 3/6 or if it was 3/7, 3/8, and 3/9, but they were only there for several days, not what we dealt with Quentin Simon, where they had a massive pile of garbage and they meticulously went through the entire pile of garbage until they found Quentin Simon. And they did find Quentin Simon. Thank you. April 8th, hindsight says. So April 8th, I thought it was March 8th. hold on, let me look that up again. Landfill. Hold on. Phil, search, Sebastian. No, it's saying March. It's got them. I've got a WKRN out there on March 7th, March 8th, and up here's March 9th. But they could be piggybacking, but my first one is on the 7th. I've got a news article on the 7th, the 8th, and the 9th. So I would presume that it was March 7th that it started, according to the news. Oh, typo. Okay, got it. Perfect. So that's kind of where it is, but it was very close to the time he disappeared, not 2 months after. It was actually only a couple weeks after, within 14 days or something like that. And so, that's another red flag for me, in the statement. But could he have just misspoke? Yes, a year later, the person could have misspoke. I don't know when that statement was released and where it was released at, or the timing of the statement. Was this statement made early back in March of last year, or was it made just recently? Which, again, gives me a little bit of pause, and I got to sneeze.
Something about that message just doesn't feel legit to me. Now, I did go back and look at the news and media coverage on the Kentucky landfill search from last year just to refresh my memory, and this is ultimately what was said at the end of that search at the landfill. The search for Sebastian Rogers at the Hopkins County, Kentucky landfill is over and yielded negative results. Authorities said no leads or evidence pertaining to Rogers' whereabouts were discovered during the operation. Sumner County Sheriff Sonny Weatherford said they did not have a specific tip that led them to the landfill. They were just making sure nothing was missed because garbage trucks went through the community between when Sebastian was last seen and reported missing. The disposal company collects trash from the Stafford Court neighborhood between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. on Mondays, the company said. The trucks are unloaded at a local transfer station where another company then sends the refuse to certain landfills by tractor trailer. So first off, remember
why isn't this
when they tried to...
There we go. I got it to stop. Sometimes it gets a little sticky for me. So again, he read the statement, and to me, it's word salad. It's not crystal clear, and I think that it is by design. It can be misleading. So it's not directly related to Sebastian's whereabouts, but is it something related to the case? They did not elaborate on that, just that it was not. And trust me when I tell you this, law enforcement is very clever about what they say and how they say it. They will tell you the truth with word salad, okay? That means that they're not specifically addressing certain things, but what the public is wondering, was he there? And no, he wasn't. And nothing that they've collected or got showed them where he was. Does that mean nothing was collected? I don't know. And then furthermore, and Matt's going to go over it again, there's some misleading information. Why were they at the Kentucky landfill? Thank you, Lisa B. Always. Hold on here. What does it say? Allegedly, there were several landfills, some unknown to the public. Public was never supposed to know there was a search at the landfill, in my opinion. I agree with that. And, but it makes me wonder why they chose Kentucky, because Kentucky was for the construction site, not for their neighborhood. So why didn't they check the landfill for their neighborhood is the question. Unless somebody's misleading us on that, and I don't believe they are. I've heard from multiple people in that area that that's not where their stuff goes. But could it be like Matt had just said, let me back it up just a little bit.
Where another company then sends the...
Because Matt's going to say, he's going to explain that, here, it says right here at the bottom, where another company sends the refuse to certain landfills by tractor trailer. Was this their garbage that went to the proper landfill and then was hauled over to Kentucky? Because that's what it sounds like they're reporting here. That it really was their community's trash that went to the appropriate landfill, but it was the refuse that was sent to this other landfill by tractor trailer.
Used to certain landfills by tractor trailer. So first off, remember when they tried to push the flashlight footage as being trash trucks? Well, if the trash comes between 5 and 6, how would there be lights from the trash truck on camera around 3 in the morning? The second thing is that they said that there was nothing of evidentiary value pertaining to Sebastian Rogers that would indicate that they would need to continue searching there. And then the third thing is I actually went back to the beginning of one of the FB groups that I'm in revolving around this case, and a few of the locals were actually saying that their trash in Hendersonville goes to a different landfill, not the Kentucky landfill that was searched. Apparently, the Kentucky landfill is where the trash from the construction site near the Proudfoot's home was going to. So trash from the Proudfoot's home wouldn't have even ended up in that landfill, I don't think. I don't really know what to believe right now. I think that it is important to remember that this is not verified information at the moment. And I think that it is also important to remember that there is an active investigation going on. So if certain things are not being released to the public, there's probably a reason for that, especially if there is truth and or incriminating evidence against one or more people. It is possible.
Okay, we'll finish it up.
That law enforcement could be lying about things, could be keeping things secret as they build a case against someone. Remember, a body is not always needed in order for charges to be made. But in situations like that, a lot of evidence needs to be presented to accurately showcase that the person being charged committed an unaliving against someone for a jury to actually find them guilty. And in some cases, that takes a very long time.
Which we
Good morning, everyone. So I'm not sure if you guys
we are learning about. Which we are learning about the length of time. We just talked about a case yesterday where a girl was unalived by her fiance, and it took over a decade to get him arrested. So all of this leads us to our topic of conversation tonight with Mike DeMann. Now, I'm going to play just a little bit of this, and then we're going to jump to Dee Warner. If you don't know who Dee Warner is, Dee Warner, she was a woman from Michigan. She went missing on April 25th, 2021, and her remains were later found in an anhydrous tank, which many of you know we're talking about anhydrous pneumonia, or ammonia, when it comes to the segment Mike DeMann had spoke. So I thought it was interesting because 7 months ago, I wondered if Dee Warner's case would help shed some light on Sebastian Rogers' case. And I truly believe there is something in Dee Warner's case that's going to shed some light in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. She disappeared on April 25th, 2024. And her body was found on August 18th, 2024, after her ex-husband, or her husband at the time, her soon-to-be ex-husband, I can't remember which, had already been in jail and already charged with her unaliving. And then they finally found her on his property in a modified anhydrous tank, which is a big tube. I thought it was a little box one. They have smaller ones, but she was in this tank. It wasn't a small little, carry along tank. It was a huge one that stays in place. And so we're going to go over that, and we're going to go over what this chemical does to a body. Okay. Not that it's relevant, not that it's it's pointing feet. We're just going over the information. We're going to discuss the information in an educational format so we understand what this stuff truly does. Let's listen to Mike.
To acid. And immediately I thought about comments that he made before. Both Katie and Chris, comments that were repeated, and Jill mentioned to me how many times he said, or Katie said, Sebastian, he loved to swim. He loved to swim.
Did I miss one? Hold on. I think I
Now,
missed
Chris
the
said
most
he
important.
was a
Hold on.
pool-bound person.
Yeah, I think I missed the most important.
Because the question to me is what happened during the transport of Sebastian, 3 a.m., around 3 a.m., or
the reason why he's saying the transport of Sebastian is I think we have enough information to acknowledge at least Sebastian was removed from that house and placed in a vehicle and removed from the area. I think that is well known at this point from the flashlight video that was released by Nick Barris on March 14th. And it has, been reviewed by many different people with many different expertise and educational background and skill in, photo and video enhancements. I think that those have been enhanced. I think we can clearly see something isn't right in those videos, period. No matter how we look at it, there's just something not right. So I think we can all agree that there's enough information to state that he was removed from the home at that time. So let's stop dancing around it. We've seen it with our own eyes. People can try to disprove it all day long. They're not going to be able to. Too many people have been able to enhance it and have been able to garner a blob carrying another blob. Okay? No matter how you look at it, there is a blob carrying another blob. That's all we kind of, at this point, do we know who's carrying it? No, we don't with specificity, but we can use this deductive reasoning to figure it out, okay? But there is a blob carrying another blob out of the house into a vehicle, period. So that I think that's what he's referring to here.
After, how did Sebastian disappear? And why is Chris Proudfoot so 100% certain that there's no evidence whatsoever? Everything is about no evidence, no evidence. That's their theme.
And that's the biggest problem.
In the beginning, they were only worried about cameras. When they made the announcement that Sebastian was missing, they didn't even mention his name. Katie did not even mention his name. I think she mentioned maybe that he's 5'5". I don't even think she mentioned his age.
I don't think she did.
And the concern was evidence, cameras. If anybody has a camera, they were afraid of being seen on camera. What could be seen on camera? And we have the ring.
And wouldn't that imply everybody's scared about being on camera? Now let's think about the positioning of that car, that unknown vehicle that was out there. We have our assumptions on what type of car it could be, what kind of vehicle it could be, whatever the case may be. But what would be the purpose of that car parking in that specific spot if not to avoid the cameras? If not to avoid the cameras, because I can tell you, on that house, when you see that camera, you don't think it's going to pick up that much view. You don't think because the camera literally is pointing directly at the boat. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the camera and just passing, when you see it on the side of the wall, because I have, it looks like it is directly pointing at their boat that they keep in the front of their house. So nobody is going to realize until they see the footage, the field of view it has. That field of view was much larger than I thought it would be because it looked like it was pointed directly at the boat. So that car parked being in that specific spot, to me, implies somebody that knew cameras were in the area and tried to willfully avoid the cameras. So, again, my opinion, but I've seen it firsthand. And when you look at that camera, it looks like it's pointed directly at the boat. So I'm confident that whoever was in that car thought they were out of the view of the camera.
camera audio, allegedly from that night. And we don't know where to look. We don't know what happened to Sebastian's body. So supposedly he made the comment, "Don't F with the blue collar man, we have access to acid." And immediately...
That is the one statement, and it was the first statement Mike DeMann had put up there. I've never heard that statement, but I know that if Mike DeMann has it on his channel, it was there. Okay? This is what's changed my mind about Terry's charge not being relevant. I think it is relevant. Why? Because he's already joking about acid and what it could do. And anhydrous ammonia is a type of acid. It's a type of acid that will burn your skin. It is lethal to ingest. It can blind you. It is nasty stuff if it gets on a human being. Its typical purpose is for fertilizer. Okay, so you have this stuff typically on farms. It was a common practice. That's why they had the anhydrous tanks on the farm of Dee Warner's husband, right? It was their house. It's a farmland type of house. They have this. It's originally designed to be a fertilizer. People have used this ammonia for other things like math with an E, which is the inspiration of my Breaking Bad thumbnail. But this is what changed. Now, I covered Dee Warner. I'm just going to play some blurbs from one and blurbs from the other, not take too long, and then we're going to go back to Mike DeMann. Just want to make sure I'm not losing my audio before I play it. Is a mom, a grandmother that disappeared from her home from an abusive husband back in 2021. April 25th, I believe, was the day. Oh, is it Tuesday? Am I rushing it along? I said happy. It is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, y'all. We're not quite to the hump yet. I'm rushing the week along. Oh, good gracious. Anyways, Dee Warner, she was found on her husband's property 3 years later in a tank that he welded shut and painted to obscure her being inside of it. And this is very problematic, but I think we can bring a lot of what went on in her case into the Sebastian Rogers case, which is another case that I'm going to be talking about here in just a short minute. Dee Warner, her husband, when there were people out, her husband followed them. Her husband tried to intimidate them. Any witnesses or anybody that had information about him or his wife, he would stalk them. He would, again, intimidate them. There was a barn that burnt up. There was cattle that were killed. There was hay that was sliced. But more importantly, this case right here, I really think is going to have an impact on the Sebastian Rogers case, even though this is so much further away than the Sebastian Rogers case. Now, Chris McDonough with the interview room had discussions about this very case on his show. And this morning on my YouTube channel, we kind of dived into those commentaries. And I pray to God that you guys are able to go, that don't have egos, that check their ego. A 15-year-old, okay. And then we go into that one. So that's all I wanted to show you on that one. I remember that. And then we got this one. This is the day we were live earlier, and then I get the notification that they finally found Dee. This is on August 18th. I had found out that they found Dee's body after all these years on August 18th, 2 hours after it happened. And here is the live going over that finding. Into it. This is a case stemming from 2021. If you guys remember, in 2021, we had a lot of things going on. We had
the Gabby Petito case. We had the Summer Wells case. We had other cases that did Colin Knapp, and we did follow those cases. And this was one of the stories that we would have covered early in the morning as part of an intro conversation, not something that we had discussed in depth. But Dale Warner came up in a lot related to this. It seemed really clear and cut to many people. And again, this is another case where we knew long before this day came who would be responsible for this lady missing. And it took 3 years, almost 4 years, for her assailant to be brought to justice. But he was already in jail, from my understanding. I kind of lost track of this probably around the middle of 2022. But I wanted to bring this up because one of our subscribers that's been with us from the beginning sent it over to me to let me know that she has been found. You know, this is a good thing. I mean, obviously, the family's in a lot of pain. I can't imagine. But at the end of the day, they now at least know what happened. She's going to get an autopsy to do final confirmation, but they're pretty sure it's Dee. It was found on her husband's property. So the body of Dee Warner, who's been missing since April 2021, has been found and identified. A spokesperson has confirmed to WTOL 11 Sunday morning. Michigan, that's right, and this is breaking right now. This started breaking about 3 hours ago. But Dee Warner, a beautiful soul, older lady, just seemed very bubbly. Okay, so this is very hard, I'm sure, on her family, as many of these cases are. Michigan State Police say the autopsy is needed for official confirmation, but stated that the remains were found during a search of a property belonging to Dale Warner, Dee's husband. Give me just a second. You know what? I just realized that there is a misspelling on just about everything that I did today. I don't know how I did that, but I did. So give me a second. Let me.
We'll blame it on the
dyslexia.
dyslexia.
How our people are with punctuations and proper spelling. Wouldn't want to make a mistake like that. Let me fix this and then we'll get back to it. Oh, good gracious. What a beautiful soul, though. What a beautiful soul.
Hold on, let me move it. Let me move it to the height range. Okay, it's still going.
Warner, human remains were found. Officials were out on 2 properties belonging to Dale Warner on Friday. So now, mind you, this person has been missing for a significant amount of time, and they're just now getting search warrants to go look at his property. I think
you guys get that? They're just getting search warrants to go look at his property. Okay? I don't understand this, but let me just show you what these tanks look like. There it is. It's something like that. Right there. But that's not the point. The point is what is this stuff? What is it? And what is it going to do to a human? Because we're hearing all of these things coming from Chris and Katie. Let's be honest. We've all heard the past tense being used as if he's already gone. We're hearing Chris refer to, death as the person that's no longer here is celebrating. People have brought up some type of mercy unaliving as a potential possibility. And it's not that we want to think this way. It's what is coming out of the last people that know this boy's mouth. And that is not good. Then let's look at law enforcement. Where are they searching? They were searching waterways. They were searching landfills. This is not heading us to the place where we want to be heading. But this new information about countrymen have acid, that is something that's on this man's mind. If he's put in a predicament, he's going to be looking for what he needs. Is this what happened? Is this what happened when he went back for that 24 hours? I don't know. I'm just saying something isn't right. And his stepfather has something very, very lethal that he's been charged with. Not that he's done anything lethal, but the chemicals that he was charged with are lethal chemicals. Even though they happened back in 1981, leopards don't change their spots. The knowledge and experience is there. They know about this stuff. They joke about using this stuff, right? And now we have a missing boy that these same people tell us we will never find him again. That's some scary stuff. So I decided to go through and find out what is anhydrous ammonia. And hopefully you guys are seeing it up on the screen. You are seeing it up on the screen. Great. So let me see if I can make this just a tad bit wider for you guys right there. It's called NH3. It's an effective and widely used source of nitrogen fertilizer. It's relatively easy to apply and is readily available to producers. However, not handled properly, NH3 can be dangerous. Anhydrous means without water. No water, ammonia. Straight ammonia is my understanding. So I wanted to dive in a little bit more. What will anhydrous ammonia do to a body? And so I'm finding out some more information. Anhydrous ammonia, a highly concentrated form of ammonia, is a corrosive substance that can cause severe burns, irritation, even death upon contact with the body, especially eyes, skin, respiratory tract, and mouth. More details of an explanation. Inhaling anhydrous ammonia gas can cause immediate burning of the eyes, nose, throat, and respiratory tract. It can lead to coughing, wheezing, chest pain, difficulty breathing. High concentrations can cause severe lung damage, pulmonary edema, and potentially fatal airway obstruction. In severe cases, it can lead to respiratory arrest and death. Contact with skin. Liquid ammonia can cause frostbite and severe chemical burns. The skin can dehydrate and damage by corrosive action of ammonia hydroxide. Burns can be deep and penetrating, especially on moistened skin area. But that's still not enough. So I asked the question, if anhydrous ammonia breaks down tissue, how does it not affect decomposition? So this is what I've learned with that question being asked. Now, mind you, this is all Google search. You know how I feel about Google, but for this stuff, it does seem this information is good. While anhydrous ammonia can cause tissue damage and necrosis, it doesn't directly halt decomposition. Instead, it accelerates it by disturbing cell membranes and irritating an inflammatory response, leading to faster tissue breakdown and ultimately a faster decomposition process. So ammonia's corrosive nature, anhydrous ammonia, upon contact with moisture in tissue, forms an ammonium hydroxide, a highly corrosive substance. Tissue damage. Ammonia hydroxide disrupts cell membranes, lipids, causing saponification. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Which basically means breaking down of the fats that lead to cell destruction, necrosis. We've heard of something being necrotic. That means it's dying. The tissue's dead. Hydration and inflammation. The process extracts water from the cells, leading to hydration and triggers an inflammatory response, further damaging tissue. Accelerated decomposition. The tissue damage and inflammation caused by the ammonia ultimately accelerates decomposition process by making the tissue more susceptible to microbial activity and autolus self-digestion. Ammonia as a product of decomposition. During decomposition, proteins and other nitrogen compounds break down, releasing ammonia as a byproduct. So then I ask, do people decomp quicker with the use of anhydrous ammonia? And we all know, based on the last statement, that that is true. Again, this is not something we want to talk about. We want to believe that Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers is out there somewhere and will make it home to his dad. You know, at some point, we're hoping that that is what happens. But we have to listen to the words that are coming out of the people's mouths that were last known to be with him. Now, granted, Chris Proudfoot wasn't last known to be with him, but many of us don't believe that, do we? Many of us believe he did come back that early morning. Many of us believe that he was one of the people seen heading toward the vehicle, the unknown vehicle. Many of us believe he's one of the people holding one of the two flashlights. Many of us believe the second flashlight was Katie. Why do we believe that? Because we saw one flashlight going back toward the home, and with reasonable deductive reasoning, we can conclude that two people were in that house. There was activity on the outside of the house. We see a person carrying a blob to a vehicle, that vehicle leaving, and one person hurrying back to the home, and that home only woke up with one person in it. So it's reasonable to believe that the flashlight that ran back to the home is most likely the one person that's still at the home in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's a reasonable deduction and conclusion you can have based upon the facts. Many people don't want you thinking logically. They want you thinking of their narrative and what misinformation and disinformation is being produced. But think about it. If this man knows about these acids long before Sebastian ever disappeared, would he be now very cognizant? Think about his family. Does his family have large properties that they could use this? I would think if a family member's in the construction business or has a large property, say a large plot of land, may have this stuff on stock. It's very easy for people that garden to have lye laying around. Lye is another very common chemical that people use, and it's readily available anywhere. You use it for a variety of things, including your soaps. So is this a possibility? Of course it's a possibility. We don't know where Sebastian is, right? There could be a lot better possibilities out there, and we've covered those. We have a lot of people that are reaching out to make phone calls. I know Seth said something about having a community post on his page that had a laundry list of numbers that he needs help calling with. If you guys want to help out, please be sure to let him know what state you're going to be calling. Me personally, I think you should be calling, if you're in the state of Georgia, you should be calling all the Georgia numbers. Don't worry about Tennessee or Texas or other states. Just worry about your own state. And I think that needs to be for everybody. So please go over there and make sure if you're going to make the calls that you log in the comments that you're making the calls in such and such state. And if somebody's already talked about making the calls in such and such state, maybe comment on theirs and find out, did they make all the calls, or make sure you're not double working. If everybody's been called in Georgia and you live in Georgia, look at the neighboring state. Is anybody calling the neighboring state? If not, put your name in for that state, and so on and so forth. And when you guys are calling them, if you know somebody else is also calling that state, get with that person and just write them a little comment next to theirs saying, where did you leave off, or did you get them all? And keep going from there. Once all these calls are made, a lot more people will be well tuned to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and finding him. Now, because we've been working so hard and we've got a lot of traction on this case on a national level, and he still hasn't been found, we have to entertain possibilities of other things because we need to find him. We need to find him. So, guys, I just want to thank you for coming here. If you learned something on this show, please give it a thumbs up and pass it around. That's how we help each other. This is a problem. Mike DeMann brought up one statement, and that one statement about a statement that Chris Proudfoot has made was enough to provoke this conversation into Terry Bowersock's criminal past. Now, his crimes happened back in 1981 with this specific chemical, but if it's already in their mind, would they not take their experience and apply it if need be? I'd have to say yes. Is this why Chris is so confident we will never, ever find Sebastian? Because he knows where he is and he knows what condition he's in. It is definitely a possibility and a probability. It doesn't mean that it is factual. It just means it's a possibility and a probability. We also have a lot of people. So let's do the mullet party.
If you shave your cooch, but not your booty hole, is that the same as a mullet?
My tongue out her ass and left. I'm on TV. Oh shit! First cops, now this. Oh.
I also want to go through, and I remember because I starred you, Valerie, so I'm putting your comment back up here. And like we said at the beginning of the show, there is something like that. Mama Rissa, she's in chat. Tell her thank you. I'm going to go ahead and find that now and get that pulled up so you can see the what did I do with them? Okay, I know where it is. Hold on. There we go. I have to come to a different way. Okay. There we go. Make sure I don't like the way that's looking. Hold on a second. I think what I did is I sent them. Let me do it this way. I want to take your information off because I don't want people seeing your private information. Give me just a second. Delete that. Okay, this might work a little better. I'll send it to myself. Then everybody knows my. Okay. Don't like the way that's looking either. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I'm doing this right. So we don't have. Oh, okay. It's not going to work for me. Might. Hold on. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. It's not going to let me do what I wanted to do. Dad burn it. Dad burn it. Dad burn it. That's okay. We'll do it a different way. Give me just a second. I'll pull up the photos. Okay. All right. We got it. We got it. All right. I've got it up. Give me just a second. I got to do it a different way. Screen, window, there we go. Okay, let me take this off so you guys can see. Where am I? Here we go. So here's different photos of him with different types of mustaches and beards. So if you guys want to see him with like just a little spot of a mustache or a beard or variation, he's younger, so he's not going to most likely have a real thick one. But I know some people wanted to see him with some of this facial hair because we know his age. And so this one like has a little bit more shadowing in. This one's very light, normal. Then you got one that's a little thicker, one that's a little thinner, one that has no beard but just the mustache, and one that's even thinner. So you guys get the idea of these. So I also want to thank, I'm going to call out all of the Bullhorn Betty gifted memberships. So we've got Michelle Vinson, Grave Crime with Grace, The Real Me Too, It's Me Jen, SPED Teacher, Sorta Morta, Debbie, thank you. Let me make sure if there's any more. Lady for Justice, thank you so much, lady. I missed you earlier. So if you received your Bullhorn Betty gifted membership, please don't forget to tell these lovely people thank you. Thank you so much for your love and your support. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. So grab your straitjacket, your padded room, and welcome to the Insane Asylum. Welcome aboard, y'all. Welcome aboard. Melanie, thank you so much for the super sticker, or excuse me, the super chat. Says good evening. Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat, much love to all of you, and we are thinking of you. We have Eeyore Blue with the super sticker. Thank you so much. Lisa, be always feeling a little snarky tonight. I've had enough, and we completely understand. Beautiful Cynthia Games. It is nice to see you praying we get Sebastian home soon. I pray we get him home tonight, right? His dad misses him a whole lot. But at the end of the day, nobody's seen him in over a year, and it's sad. But what are we missing? We're missing a lot. And Mike Damon reminds us how much we keep missing, right? We need to go back. That's why it's so stinking important to go back to the beginning when we start hitting a wall and starting the process over. Because as we learn new information, stuff at the beginning that didn't make sense or we overlooked because there was no relevance or that we could see at the beginning, new information that comes later down the road may explain that. But by the time it comes down the road, we forgot. So going back to the beginning is always the best. Go back to the beginning. Review those first days of footage. Review the first interviews. Listen to how they've changed. We just had 2 more new statements come out from the Proudfoots, one from Katie and one from Chris about the night Sebastian disappeared. Completely opposite of what we've been told for the last year. More changes again. It's causing a lot of problems. Why can't they keep their story straight? I don't know. It seems like this one event was, doesn't happen very often. You would think that it would ingrain in their mind, but we're watching more and more of these interviews of these monsters that are out there, and we're seeing a lot of the same behaviors we've been observing on all of these interviews for the last year. It's scary. 2-month member. We know you've been around a lot longer than that, but thank you, my friend. She says it's been longer, and I'm grateful to you bringing the truth. Thank you so much. Mama Dukes, God bless you. Mally Cat, thank you so much. Thank you for being you and bringing us the facts. I hope you guys learned something especially about that anhydrous ammonia that's, pretty different. Thank you so much, Teresa, for your generosity this evening. Thank you so much. I Spy with the super sticker. Thank you so much. True Crime Justice. I love the coffee club, Sebastian's Army. Thank you so much. Chastity. Thank you for what you do. Deanna, it's nice to see you, and thank you just because you're awesome. Our beautiful Betty fan, rocking it out 34 months. I wish I had. Let's give her a round of applause. Everybody clap your hands. Yay! Betty. Outer Banks, thank you so much. Narita says, Lolly has clips where CP says you will never be found. Hopefully somebody's getting those over to me. Thank you so much for letting me know that, Outer Banks. Janice, thank you so much for the super sticker or super chat. I think it's a super chat. Lisa B. Always says, allegedly there are several landfill searches, some unknown to public. Public was never supposed to know about the searches at the landfill. It's hard to keep those things under wrap because of such the large police presence. So I've heard that rumor, but I haven't heard anything that supports it. I hope it was a diversion. I really do. And I hope they truly did find something. I hope it wasn't, a nothing burger, but again, they went out there for so little days for that landfill search. It's like they looked at it and they said, this is too much. We can't do it. Boom, boom, boom. We're out of here. That's what it looks like to the public. That doesn't equate to it being that's what happened. It's just to us, that's what it looked like. Alicia, happy anniversary, Crazy Coffee Club. Thank you for being with us for 9 months. 9 months. Thank you. Gina, thank you so much. We have, for the super sticker, we have Sorta Morta sent important email. Okay. I don't know if that's you or not, Sorta Mortar. It has to be. I'll have to go through these. I got quite a few since I started this live, so I'll have to go through those, but I will go through those and respond. Thank you so much. Lady for Justice says, I covered Georgetown, Kentucky LE and fire. What does that mean? I covered Georgetown, Kentucky, LE, and fire. Do you have some information that might be relevant? If so, can you send it to me by email? Truth in Time, thank you so much for your generosity. Gina, thank you, Bullhorn. Oh, thank you for everything you do. And then I saw, I got you. I saw that I sent an important message, but I've got several. If you can resend it now, I'll take a look at it, but I can't seem to see. Oh, you know what? Let me refresh. Hold on a second. Let me refresh sometimes when I'm not, let me just refresh, see if that helps. Are you talking about case 2000? Is that you? I just want to make sure I grab the right one because there were several and I don't see it where it says Sorta Morta. Yeah, Outer Banks, she says I put my name in the subject line. It makes it easier when it's on because, I get a lot, and I mean a lot of messages. Maybe this is it. And do you know if somebody, while I'm here, oh, Casey, 7 months, thank you. God bless you. God bless you. Sorta Morta, and this is just for everybody. We have a spreadsheet that's going around that has every interview done by Chris, Katie, Seth, or people associated with the family that I've done interviews, such as Nina, or I think maybe even Yeda's on the the list of interviews that were done. I think Miss Bobby's on there. Well, excuse me, we've had several more interviews come out over the last 2 or 3 months that I don't see placed on that list. If anybody has control of that list or knows the people that are editing that list, can we see if there's a new list with all the new interviews, so we make sure that we're not missing any of them from the family, either from Seth, Chris, or Katie, because those are going to be important at some point. In my opinion, I read that CP used to work as a sanitation worker in Mechanicsville, PA. Think of his fifth wheel trip. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Somebody did send me a package of stuff, and it's kind of gotten buried a little bit, but I'm going to find it tonight, and it is a person resent. Okay, let me look. There you are. Okay, I see it now. I see it. Okay. Let's read this. It says, is anhydrous ammonia transported in a liquid state? The answer is yes. If you were to open a hatch full on a full tank, would it immediately evaporate? Yes, not the whole tank at once. Okay. Then how could a unalive person be disposed of in a tank of it? The water in your body would turn into ammonium hydroxide. The person would have to be put in before the tank was filled. I have actually hauled ammonia. That was what I thought. So there is a way that a person could be placed in something like a tub full of NH3. Nope, they could be put in a tub of ammonia hydroxide, but not anhydrous. If you have access to the tank of it, you could convert it yourself to ammonium hydroxide. Just bubble it through a tube of water. So just add, I guess what it means is just add water. It needs water to have that ammonium hydroxide. Would some random Joe be able to purchase enough components to fill a tub? As a Kansas farmer, but not likely a realtor or RV salesman in Tennessee. What about a contractor? Well, any farmer can buy it. Not sure if realtor could. If he lied about it, he probably could. How much would it take? 50 gallons or so. That would be enough. Would the process give a foul smell? Just an ammonia odor. Would it dissolve bones and teeth? It might not get the teeth. They are different than just bones. And it's like people are discussing, yes, they are. So that's pretty interesting information. Yeah, and that's another thing. What about TB buying it? Obviously, there's a way to get it, right? He got a hold of it. He was charged with it. So that tells me that somebody like that knows where to go to get that kind of substance, that kind of ammonia. Well, what I'm thinking is would they, the other question is like, for example, and I hate having this conversation, but when I've watched other programs and stuff like that, people usually, if they say bury something, it doesn't have to be a human, it could be an animal or something like that, and they don't want other animals digging the animal up. It has been known that they will put lye to disguise the odor because the other animals could potentially smell it. Do the Svindens have a farm? I don't think they have a farm. They're kind of out in the country though. But when I look at the map, the houses are, they're in a community like Chris and Katie are, maybe a little older. I don't know. I haven't seen the house. But I did, when we were doing our research, I did see where it was over there. I think they're in White House. And they're in a community. It has some woods, but I'm telling you, there's no other woods that quite call my name, like behind, that area. And there were some things in the spiritual realm from the mediums and psychics that have drawn photos of what they're seeing, and it looks like an area that's somewhere behind the Bowersock's home, but I haven't even began looking at it to find out who owns that property, and if it's county owned or city owned or privately owned. I haven't done that much research, but I've pointed back there. I've been assured that area has been searched and researched, and nothing's there. That's about as much as I can do with what I've got, So I'm interested in finding this, because the weird thing is like with Dee Warner, I don't think she was in the anhydrous tank filled with liquid. I think they cut off the tip, put her in it, and sealed it. So nothing could get out, no smell could get out, none of that. I'm actually kind of confused why her husband didn't do a better job of disposing of her, especially with all the time he had and having all of those chemicals on his property. Why there's any of her left? To be honest with you, she was in the tank, but I don't believe that tank was ever full. I think that was just basically her casket, so to speak. And it's sad. But do I think Dee Warner's case has relevance in the Sebastian Rogers case? Well, I thought it 7 months ago. And now with this new revelation from Mike Damon, it makes me, kind of go back to this. And who would have access to this acid? Well, we definitely have a family member that's been charged, of all things to be charged with, right? Literally, of all stinking charges to have on your record, this one has a corrosive acid charge on their record. I've never seen anybody with a charge for having anhydrous ammonia. I didn't know there was such charge for that. Hell, the first time I heard of this name of anhydrous ammonia was the Dee Warner case. I never knew before or after. Or I didn't know after. We've been now studying it, so I guess I do know after. But I'm learning about it. And so when I'm learning about it, I want to teach you guys about what I'm learning. Is this a problem? This would give somebody sure confidence to tell people they'll never find them, don't you think? Something like this? It just, I don't know. I've never felt comfortable about this case. There's just something with the parents, the mom and the stepdad, that just has not sat right with me from the very first Green Shirt interview, because you have to understand the Green Shirt interview was the first interview I reviewed. I didn't know about Dutchess. I had no idea that they had been on Dutchess once or twice. We didn't cover those until months after the case started. I was unaware. I think I became aware of those when the spreadsheet came out, the very first rendition of the spreadsheet, when everybody was playing nice. And that's when I think I saw that one and the Fox and Friends interview. But I remember playing the Fox and Friends interview from the Fox, either Fox website or something. And that interview, outside of hindsight, has disappeared off the internet. I have looked for it. I have looked for it. If there's somebody that knows the Wayback Machine or whatever it is and knows how to use it, I'd like to see the original of that interview that they had with Katie and Chris on Fox and Friends. But I can't find the actual original. The only one we have, thank you to Hindsight, is on her channel. And she was able to capture it and at least give us something to look back on. I did download the entire Elevated Truth 4 or 5 hour live. I remember I kept saying he took it off, and I thought I had downloaded it, but I couldn't find it. Well, I was looking for something else in my phone, and lo and behold, there it was. I truly did download it. And so now it has been forever saved. So he can delete it all day long. He can privatize it. The words were said, and I retain a copy of it. And we'll have something, while I won't release it in its full form, we still have it, so we can always refer back to it. And if one of the content creators wants to review it, let me know, and I'll give you access to it. So we do have it. I'm trying to make sure that we have all of the interviews. If they gave the interviews, they should be proud of the interviews. The sketchy interviews that I feel like in a couple months after they get paid for it will come down and be hidden, kind of like what Elevated Truth has done. I am now downloading the full copies of them, and they're going on my external hard drive. I have a huge 11 or 12 terabyte hard drive, so it doesn't really eat up my memory on here. I've been also utilizing an account that's not associated with me personally to upload that information to keep it safe. So at some point in time when it is needed and people think they're being sneaky by dirty deleting, we will have it all here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. We're not going to allow these horrible people to have these interviews, say these horrible things, act like a complete fool, and then be able to go get paid for that garbage and then delete it and act like it never happened. I'm getting so sick and tired of people doing that, so I started cataloging everything. And those catalogs are what they are. This is about a 15-year-old boy that disappeared from his home, that hasn't been seen in a year. He's turned 16, went through all the holidays, and still nothing. So, I don't want any potential evidence being deleted by these animals. So we're going to continue to have a database, and quite frankly, I'm downloading these in real time. So even after their lives over, and once they end it ends on my end too. And they can change it over to members only, and we still have the entire video. So I got a great program. I'm going to continue doing it this way. I'm going to have all of these things transcribed, so even the transcripts will go out. And so if people want to search for certain keywords, they'll have that. I want to make sure that everybody that needs information about this boy is going to get it, because it has been far too long. There have been no answers. And quite frankly, I'm just disappointed in the process, because I believe we'd have been a lot further along if certain things were done a lot earlier in the case and that house was not contaminated the way it was. I also find it further suspect that they refused to have America's Most Wanted in the home where this child disappeared. That tells me they didn't want them poking around. It also makes me feel like this last little run on these social medias, on these drama channels, these trash channels, to me, it sounds like he's giving the middle finger. He's making a laughing stock out of the Sumner County Sheriff's Department. And I really do hope that they, are able to bring this home so the bad guys don't get away with whatever they got away with. Whatever it is, I have my opinions about it. I'm not going to change my opinions about it. The more we go further into this case, the more I feel like my assessments were accurate. Many of you guys know our batting average on this channel has always been very high in our assessments of these cases, and it's what has put a target on our back. But if you go to my commentary on Quentin Simon and you go to her court record and listen to all the information, everything that I said was accurate, and it's supported by a court record. And people were calling me a liar when I was just trying to tell the audience the truth of what was going on there. And this case is much the same. So we have a boy to still find and bring home. And that's the message. We still need to look. We still need to figure it out. We still need to find places. But more importantly, this one lady, I don't have her name off the top of my head, probably a good thing. I don't know if I have permission. I think she said I have permission to use her first name, put together this nice package. So we're going to be going over that maybe tomorrow evening. We also had somebody that put, because of AI, we were reading something from AI that somebody had sent me, and AI believes that Sebastian is 50 or 100 miles at the max out from his home. And they were able to give me a beautiful radius of 50 miles and 100 miles. And we're going to go through those, because what am I going to do? I'm going to be assigning the people that are in that area to identify search areas in those towns and areas. And if we need to do searches, 100 miles searches, that's what we're going to do. But we need to start somewhere. The best news is I truly believe that is accurate. I truly believe 100 miles does encompass a great area. I shouldn't say large area, I think is, that's what I mean by great area, large area. And I'm unsure if it covers Memphis. I'll have to look at the map again, but I think we need to look at all of it. I know somebody worked hard on the information, and so we'll talk about it tomorrow evening. I'm still going through a bunch of interviews. I'm looking for interrogation interviews of parents, or it doesn't have to be parents. It doesn't have to be parents. Anybody that had a missing person that they were interrogated for and found out that they ended up committing the crime. Those are the ones I'm looking for, because those are the body language. Those are the words that I want to compare, next to the words and the behaviors we've been seeing by the mom and stepfather. Acid, lime, fire. Exactly. There's a lot. Who wants a pickle bag? And that's another thing. Where's the pickle bag? Where's the pickle bag? There's some things that I believe that I believe something's missing from that. I believe a whole lot is missing from the house at this point. As soon as they said they refused to let America's Most Wanted in, I think this is the first for me. I've never seen a parent have America's Most Wanted and then refuse to let them in the house. That's where the child disappeared from. That seems that seems like they have something to hide. That in and of itself, that decision alone tells me they have something to hide. They don't want law enforcement to see something, or they don't want Seth to see something, or they don't want the public to see something. And I think what that something is either Sebastian's items are missing from his room, or they changed out the carpet or some other furniture or something in their house that they don't want people to know that has been changed. Those are the only reasons I can come up with, because any parent that wants their child to come home, they don't give a rat's ass where they're filming. I can promise you that. I've met a lot of innocent parents that have lost their children, their adult children, their young children, and I can tell you not one of them has ever thought to tell somebody not to come to their house. They're always eager to show pictures and show their room and show the love that they had for their child and humanize the child. That's what they love to do, is humanizing that child. And these are two people that have sat here in the public begging for help while not accepting any help provided. It's a facade. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless, guys.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases.
We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.